Thank you very much. To talk about Savitri is a kind of a hazardous thing, but at the same time, it is a way of growing into Savitri more and more. Not only for people who attend Savitri sessions, but perhaps more to the speaker himself. Every time you open Savitri, every time you do something with Savitri, every time you speak about Savitri, new and new dimensions open out, new and new windows open out, and the vistas are really infinite. There is no end to them. So it is a constant, ongoing engagement of one's own personal growth through Savitri. That is how we see, if at all I want to say, the potential of Savitri. It is, in fact, more than the potential. It is a living realization, a living participation in the yogic revelation that has come to us through Savitri. Today, the topic which I have chosen is a look at the symbol dawn. Symbol dawn is perhaps the most difficult canto in Savitri. Shevendra wrote large number of drafts for the symbol dawn. He himself was experimenting on the way the poetry of Savitri should come down. He was trying to bring down the highest possible inspiration into poetry on a sustained level. On a sustained. There might be flashes here and there and things like that, but to have it on a sustained level, it is that which he was concerned with, and Savitri, he took that thing as an occasion. Now, it is not just to bring down the highest inspiration into poetry. He was not writing poetry for the sake of poetry. He was bringing down, along with that, the original power itself, which is there in the world, and establish that thing as a means for us to grow. That was the whole idea behind it. And therefore, when he was experimenting on Savitri, he was indeed trying to bring down that aspect into language. And what he has done is, he has left his body consciousness in Savitri. So, it is through Savitri that we can come directly in physical contact with Sri Aurobindo, the yogi seer of Savitri. Now, the symbol dawn, as I said, was drafted a number of times, and the very first line, it was the hour before the gods awake. He got it in that form in his 25th draft. He was writing and writing and writing. On one particular occasion, when the draft was getting sort of completed, he made a kind of a minor looking change, but a very big change in its significance and contents. The line, it was the hour before the gods awake. In the previous draft, the G of God was small. He made that thing capital. So, in other words, he was not just paying attention to these small details. They were, of course, there. That attention was definitely there. But when he is making the change from small g to capital G, there is something of a very capital importance in the yogic, occult yogic aspect. It is not, so to say, the ordinary gods. He was referring to the transcendental gods and their play, their role in this creation, in this process of manifestation here, had become crucial. And in order to sort of bring out that aspect, the small g was made big G, you see. Now, the second sentence of Savitri, across the path of the divine event, the huge pouring mind of night, alone in an unlit temple of eternity, lay stretched immobile upon silence march. This one immediately brings out the problem for Savitri. Not the problem of Savitri, but the problem for Savitri. Savitri, who is to come as the incarnate divine force, her problem is immediately stated in this particular sentence. The huge pouring mind of night lying across the path of the divine event. So Savitri's concern is to dismiss that mind of night lying across the path of the divine event, to dispel it, to remove it, the obstacle which is standing there, that has to be removed if the divine event is to occur. What is the divine event? Of course, the divine event here is in the context of the supramental manifestation upon earth. If that has to take place, then the mind of night which is blocking its manifestation here, that has to go away. And that's the task which Savitri has to take up and attend. So the problem is immediately stated in the very second sentence. Now, here a question might arise. Across the path of divine event, the huge pouring mind of night, alone in her unlit temple of eternity, she is lying there across the path of divine event. Is it because the gods had not yet awakened? The first line says it was the hour before the gods awake. Because the gods are not awake, is it because of that the mind of night is blocking? In other words, we could ask the question, had the gods awakened, then perhaps the mind of night would not have been present there. But it seems that the gods will not awaken unless the mind of night is dismissed. It was the hour before the gods awake. Unless the mind of night goes away, the gods will not awake. So the problem again comes down to the mind of. It is not the problem of the gods awaking or not awaking, and therefore the small g has become capital G in that manner, in that significance. Unless the mind of night is removed, gods will not oblige you. They will not be willing to do their work. They will not be able to do their work. They will not be able to do their work. So, in a way of saying, we could put it like this. It is imperative that the supramental gods awake. If the new manifestation has to take place, it must happen. The gods must awake. Having given that, then you see now what are the problems, what are the difficulties, what are the issues involved, and then start tackling one by one. So the gods are not the problem. The problem is the mind of night. Now, when will the gods awake? As I said, when the mind of night is removed. The mind of night is removed toward the end of Savitri. When Savitri confronts death face to face and death is vanquished, death is transformed, vanquished in the sense, transformed into his original supreme self. The Supreme has taken a certain poise for a certain purpose in the form of death. And when that poise is removed from the picture, then the true face of death will be seen in the supramental. And it is that true face of death, that true death, the Supreme Himself, it is He then who will grant boons to Savitri. One after the other. That is what we have in the 11th book, the book of everlasting day, everlasting day. Then the gods awake, you see, at that point, you see, everlasting day. In fact, to go one step further, even in the everlasting day, when Savitri is receiving the boons, the gods may not yet be awake as far as the earth is concerned. She has vanquished death, mind of night is not there, yet it does not mean that the gods are awake. The gods will awake when Savitri brings down the soul of Satyavan to the earth. She is carrying the soul of Satyavan to the earth. And while she is coming down to the earth, the most miraculous thing, most wonderful thing that happens is Krishna and Kali follow her. She is coming down, Krishna, the Anandamaya Purusha, and the dynamic Shakti, Kali. They follow Savitri while she is coming down on earth. And when they come down on earth, it is at that point the gods really awake. At that point the gods awake. Therefore, from this moment onward till this one, it is that 1 hour which is the span of Savitri. Before the gods awake, it was the hour before the gods awake. So all that happened in that 1 hour. She sees the problem, the gods are not awaking, something has got to be done, it has been removed, that obstacle, and things have to progress further. She does all that, this, Krishna and Kali come, then the gods awake. So all that has happened now in 24,000 lines roughly is the description of that 1 hour. It was the hour before the gods awake, till the gods awake. All that has happened here, you see.